Greetings friends, my name is Pavel Steinmach and now we will dive into the top news of this day. The leader of the Wagner PMC mercenaries announced his intention to completely withdraw his formations from Bakhmut by June the 1st. The withdrawal process has already started. The Battle of Bakhmut has become a media card of the Wagnerites, thanks to which the terrorist Prigozhin simply enhanced his political influence inside Russia. The price of Prigozhin's PR campaign in Bakhmut is a completely destroyed city, tens of thousands of killed mercenaries, many months lost in the assault on one city of Donetsk Oblast. For the sake of establishing control over it, Russians destroyed the city and laid tens of thousands of their soldiers. Thus, while it is possible to seize territory, it is no longer possible to win the war. Bakhmut is only one section of the long front line of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Its defense fits into the framework of the overall plan of the Ukrainian command. The heroic defense of Bakhmut, which lasts almost 10 months for now, contained the main forces of the enemy and exhausted them on the eve of the summer campaign, for which Ukraine is preparing. Therefore, the main mission of mercenaries failed. The dynamics of the battles for Bakhmut is changing in favor of Ukraine, so Prigozhin hastened to hand over the front to the regular army, so as not to be associated with the upcoming Russian defeat. However, while there were fewer battles in Bakhmut, the number of rocket attacks did not decrease. Tonight, the Russians again launched missile and attack drones in different regions of Ukraine, and already in the afternoon they hit the hospital in Dnipro. More than 20 people were injured. At least 2 were killed. This is the war of the Russians, to hit hospitals and civilian buildings. You know, there is a rule in war not to hit medical vehicles and hospitals. In order to mark them, red crosses are drawn on them. This shows that the building or vehicle is not dangerous and is only working to keep the soldiers alive and well. And you know, very often doctors save the lives of enemy soldiers too, because this is their vocation, to save people. They do not take up weapons, they take up a tourniquet, a stretcher, or wounded person himself and carry this to a peaceful place. And the Russians simply attack hospitals because they care about people's lives, regardless, Russians, Ukrainians, women or children, the elderly or wounded. Therefore, for Russia there is only one diagnosis: a bloodthirsty creature. Ukraine's foreign minister Dmytro Kuleba is visiting a number of African countries this week as part of the second diplomatic Africa tour in less than a year. This demonstrates our genuine commitment to a new era of Ukrainian-African relations. The first tour, which took place in October of last year, included sub-Saharan countries: Senegal, Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana and Kenya. The second tour covers all regions of the African continent. The goal is to revitalize Ukraine's relations with African countries by visiting more African nations and offering them the opportunity to build mutually respectful and mutually beneficial relationships. Opening new horizons has become fundamental to our diplomacy under President Volodymyr Zelensky's leadership, strengthening Ukraine in times of war and elevating its role in the international arena.
I wish every African family peace, love, and prosperity. You deserve it. Ukraine wants to have a better relationship with you, and we are working tirelessly to achieve this goal. Of course, we fight a war. We fight a war against a foreign invader who does not respect our sovereignty, our identity, our culture, and our territorial integrity. Russia attacked Ukraine. Nevertheless, we continue to do everything that we can to ensure that we develop cooperation and trade with other countries, that Ukrainian grain reaches Africa so that food crisis or famine are avoided.
We are communicating directly with our African partners with no intermediaries. We want to start a new stage of relationships based on mutual respect and benefits. Russia attacked Ukraine. Nonetheless, we continue to do everything in our power to develop trade and cooperation with African nations and to ensure that Ukrainian grain reaches the continent, so that the food crisis is avoided. Ukraine is a powerful and prospective economic partner offering cooperation not only in food security. African countries are interested in other vital goods, including pharmacies, technology, digital solutions, and the educational sphere. Ukraine will always be there to help African nations, and we count on their support too. All of this work is based on long-term strategic insight. We are working to win the war, ensure Ukraine's leadership in a post-war world, and open new horizons for businesses and citizens. At the same time, during the visit to the apartment headquarters of the African Union, Dmytro Kuleba drew attention to the negative consequences of Russia's aggression against Ukraine on the situation in Africa, the increase in food prices, the activation of activity of PMC Wagner, the drop in socio-economic indicators. A separate topic of the meetings was food security in Africa. The Ukrainian minister noted that within the framework of the humanitarian program of the President of Ukraine, Grain from Ukraine, during December 2022 and March 2023, the Ukrainian government sent 6 ships with a cargo of 170,000 tons of wheat to Somalia, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Yemen. According to him, in the near future it is planned to send ships with agricultural products to other countries that need help too. And that's why the initiative was extended for another 60 days. On May the 17th, this decision was critical, primarily to facilitate grain access for countries in need. The Black Sea Grain Corridor ensures that Ukrainian agricultural products reach countries in the Middle East, North Africa, and Asia. Ukraine continues to be an important food security guarantor for many countries around the world. Since its inception in the summer of 2022, the Black Sea Grain Initiative has enabled Ukraine to export 29.8 million tons of food. This volume could be much higher if Russia did not obstruct the corridor's operation. Currently, over 1.5 million tons of agricultural products for 10 countries need to be loaded onto 26 vessels in the port of Yuzhny. But they are still waiting in Turkish territorial waters due to deliberately slowed inspections by the Russian side. Russia purposefully delays the grain deal in order to undermine its effectiveness and reduce Ukraine's food exports. We need a joint international action to ensure the full functioning of the Black Sea Grain Initiative. After all, the Russian Federation is blocking the entry of 28 ships to the Ukrainian port Pivdenny, reported the ambassador of the United States of America to Ukraine, Bridget Brink.
After repeated threats to withdraw from the Black Sea Grain Initiative, Russia now refuses to allow any of the waiting 28 ships into Pivdenny, one of the 3 ports designated by the Agreement of Food Exports, a clear violation of their commitment. Russia must stop obstructing the operations of this life-saving initiative. Bridget Brink, United States Ambassador to Ukraine, on Twitter.
It is noteworthy that Russia has repeatedly threatened to withdraw from the agreement. In particular, if it is not possible to reach a consensus on its continuation, taking into account the interests of the Russian side regarding the supply of fertilizers. And I will not be surprised if in 2 months, when the current agreement will come to an end, Russia will again start blackmailing the UN, Turkey, and the whole world in order to prevent Ukrainian grain from reaching needy regions of the world. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for future videos. Subscribe to our channel and goodbye.